Hello world! I'll be teaching Star Wars Rebellions to some new players in a 2v2 configuration tomorrow. So I want to show you my current setup and maybe you get some ideas for yourself as well. So starting from this side of the table, I have all the units. By the way, I'm using the Laserox Organiser, which I've upgraded considerably. These are some labels that I've placed on the side, showing all the units, where they are and how many of them you're supposed to have. And you can obviously see new units from the wider Frontlines expansion. Above that is dice tower, which you can disassemble, and it all fits into this tray, which is part of the Laserox Organiser, which I'm using. There's all the relevant spaces for dice, and of course the battle damage bar is on top. And let's just see how this works. And there you go. Now, this is the setup I'm using from Rise of the Empire at the moment. So none of the units are implemented. Again, these are new players. So starting from the Rebel side, here we have a first round sort of summary. And then we have the box with all the leaders. Here you can see the leaders from Dawn of the Rebels, and it's a really clever way of how I'm able to fit them all in the original box. Here underneath you have the extra cards for more leaders and action cards. Then we have this unique piece which lets you store the action cards in a way that the opponent cannot see, but you can store several of them. Next to it, you have the newest piece of my setup, which is this 2v2 unit board, only from the original units. It clearly shows what are the responsibilities of the Admiral, which is on the left, and the General on the right, not only in terms of units, but in terms of cards, action hand here, and of course the missions. And the relevant space and ground tactic cards are separated too. And you can maybe see these leaders have a unique attachment to the top that lets you place mission cards like this, so you can see them all the time, but obviously the opponent cannot. Moving on, right, we have the Rebel base here. We haven't chosen a Rebel base yet. I'm going to leave that tomorrow. This box is mostly empty as most of the components are now taken out. Okay, now moving on to this part, which I really love. It's this wooden piece of map, which is actually placed above the lid. So this is actually the lid for this box. And some of the lids from the other boxes become stand. So if you need to take this out during game just to take out some of those cards, you can store it all by itself, or you can just hang it out here. All right, then we have the Empire. Again, this mirror setup. You have the General here, Admiral here. Clearly defined responsibilities in terms of cards. You can see this line essentially divides the whole unit sheet into two. And moving on to the leaders, of course, original leaders, Rise of the Empire leaders, and Dawn of the Rebels leaders. And then we move on to the boxes with all the units. Of course, we have the original units mixed in with units from wider Frontlines. Here's some more. And finally, the ground units are at the very bottom. So this is what my current setup looks like. If you have any questions, drop them below the video. I'll be happy to respond with links to more information of either one of these projects. So we're playing with base game, Rise of the Empire, but we're avoiding any units and cards currently from Galactic Struggle, wider Frontlines, and Dawn of the Rebels, which are also in my setup, and they all fit inside the original box in this organizer. Thanks for watching, and until the next game.